Happy Thursday, everybody. This is Coffee Brown, and I'm back on my channel called Koffee Spills the Tea. Today is Thursday, February 20th, 2025. So hopefully you'll all see this tonight or sometime in the future, whichever. Welcome to my channel. So before I get started, as always, I'm just going to ask you to please subscribe to my channel, like this video. Also, if you can, share this channel with your family, with your friends, with people who you think this might be beneficial for. And hit that bell for the notifications and hit all, so every time I upload a video, you will get notified. What is this channel about? Koffee Spills the Tea. This is a channel that is for, that I started because I said, look, as a black woman, I want to feel safe. I am looking to find ways to make myself happy, and my big thing for making myself happy is I am planning to move out of the United States. I'm moving overseas. It may not be your version of happiness, and who knows what your version is, only you do. But this is all about black women. We just don't often put ourselves first, and so as a result, sometimes it gets a little wearing. It wears you down. It makes you tired. It puts you in a more negative frame of mind, and it just makes you sad sometimes. Or maybe it does make you happy, but maybe you just want more. And so I just have been kind of vlogging about this and thinking, hey, somebody is in my mindset and they're looking for a way to get to happiness, regardless of how they do it. Maybe they're just interested in seeing what is the plan. How am I gonna put it all together? Maybe you just need some validation, like, hey, maybe it is okay to put myself first sometimes and try to find some kind of safe space for me where I can emotionally and financially and physically feel like I'm happy. So I am just kind of chronicling this. If you are somebody that's looking to go overseas as well, whether you're going to South America, Mexico, Europe, Africa, whatever, or if you're just staying here, or maybe you're just moving to another city or another state or whatever. But either way you look at it, you always want to see if there's a way to make a plan and to kind of talk it through. And so each week I'm just kind of talking through things, and I'm looking up right now because I'm also in sadly, I'm in a lecture for my, I guess I work in IT, and so there is a little lecture thingy I have to attend, so you're going to see my eyes look up and down every now and again. But I have things that I'd like to share that will hopefully make people happy. And even if you're not going to travel, there might be some things that you want to that you might be able to take away. So tonight I am hopefully only going to be on for a shorter period of time, because tomorrow I have my big interview with a company that I really would love to work for, and they are an international company. It is a contract job, so it'd be getting contracts from them. If they do hire me, they said they would definitely give me training first before I would get contracts. And then once I get those contracts, hopefully they just keep coming. And so my goal is to try to get like one contract a week from them. And if I get one contract a week from them, I'm more than better off. But I am unprepared because I had been working on other things and trying to put together the PowerPoint. And the week before that, I was studying for my new certification that I just got in artificial intelligence. And that took quite a bit of a chunk of my time, and then I had to mentally kind of recoup from that. And so really, I'm feeling underprepared and a little bit nervous, but I'm going to do my best because the presentation that I had to put together is finally done. I just now am trying to talk my way through it and just make little changes here and there, and I still have to do like a full-scale lab and put that together. So I will be up for a good amount of the night tonight. It's okay. Do what you gotta do, right? This is how we do. you do what you have to do. I'm also still wearing my nice little sweater because this is a nice warm one for me. But this weekend they say it's supposed to be warmer, so I am like woohoo, praying that we're gonna have good warm weather. Um, because really, I'm kind of tired of the winter. Aren't you all that are in winter? We live in the right now in the area of the world where we have winter. It's kind of not fun. Anyway, let's get back over to it. So, um, I was talking with a couple women online and just kind of going back and forth, and they were just like, "I'm so scared," and you know, being if you're young, right, and you're in your 20s and you're just like, "I'm just getting out there," you may have a different frame of mind than someone who's actually like been through and like have gotten a career, and now it's been some years and now you're just saying you're just kind of like and you just want to kind of reset and start over, and it's different. um and so it's a little scary, and so I've had women say like, what do you do? And I was like, you know what, here's what I'm going to tell you to do. If you are, regardless, whether if it's travel or you just want to do something new or something that you just haven't experienced before and you just don't know, it's hard to face the unknown. It's a scary thing. Find groups. Find groups. So I have, for me, for traveling and being a part of a community of women who are black women who are older and they want to, and they're like-minded like me, and they want to travel. So there's a group called I think it's called the Exodus Summit. I'll have to find, I believe it's called the Exodus Summit. And if you are, and it's a Facebook group. It's started by a woman named Stephanie Perry, Perry. I keep mentioning her, and I put it in previous descriptions of previous videos that I've done. And she is really big on like, hey, I've been out of the country, I've been traveling abroad, I'm a black female, I've been traveling abroad, older, like I'm on the older side, just like me, and she's been traveling since I think like 2016, 2017, lived out of the country. She's got that method down, she's got that formula down. And so I just went ahead and I went to her YouTube channel and I subscribed to her YouTube channel, and I go to all of her videos that she has. She has quite a few live ones, and she's got pre-record. She records those so you can go back and look at those videos. And she has a Facebook group, and she's like, and she's always promoting like, hey, let's get into this group, let's make this happen. She does have a paid portion of it that I don't pay because I don't have the money for it. But she was like, hey, if you really want to pay, when you get in there and you pay, you're going to be like, I want to get all I need to get and get out, because it's not cheap. But you get everything that you need to get, and then you go and you are out there doing what you need to do. But yeah, so I have joined Facebook groups like living in Portugal, living in Italy, and black expats abroad and things like that. I've done the research and just went in and found some groups that I can join. And one time in these groups, I can introduce myself. They do want to see a picture. They do want to have some kind of indication of who you are. It's really hard and to be a part of a group of people who are like-minded, and then you're like looking at just a blank like circle with no picture or some kind of cartoony thing. No matter what you're doing, people need to feel a connection to you. So make that picture, right? And just go in and just say who you are and join a group. And you will find that you're going to get a lot of information. Maybe it's a cooking group. Maybe it's a knitting group. Maybe it's a like a dog lovers group. Maybe, like I said, maybe it's a travel group. Whatever it is, those groups. You get in there and you will find like-minded people. Like my other big passion is that I love animals, especially dogs, I guess cats to some extent, but but yeah, so I'm in groups that deal with like dogs and stuff. And so there's one like there's a humane society that's in the next state over, and they made a call out to like all Facebook groups, and they're like, we are just running low on supplies. And they showed like all these shelves with all this, like, just almost empty, and they're like, we need help. So I immediately went to my neighborhood Facebook group, because I know that they are rabid dog lovers as well. And I was like, look at this organization. They're trying to do good for animals, and they are just running low on supplies. Can anyone help? And I was like, I'm willing, in a couple of weeks when it's warmer out and I can clear out my car, I'm willing to go around the neighborhood, pick stuff up, and make the 2.5 hour drive out to that place. I don't even have to like say very much. They're already organizing and getting things together. And there's a woman who's like, yeah, I'm going to go out there this weekend. And people are like getting things and getting supplies, and she's getting ready to go out. And I was just like, great. And so I belong to a lot of those kind of like rescue organizations. I had joined another one about a couple years ago because I like older dogs, and I love when I can help an older dog. And so I belong to an organization where they provide grants for rescues that will rescue older animals and help those older animals become rehomed. And so I am now helping with the grant review. So all of those organizations, those nonprofits, had sent this particular big nonprofit like these requests for grants, and so I'll be helping with that. I have the time for it? I will make the time. So after tomorrow, hopefully I'll have more time to kind of dedicate to that for a little bit. But it goes all the way till May, and I'm like, okay, I'll do it. But that's a lot of time. But we're supposed to have partners, and hopefully I can kind of push off my partner as far as doing our grant reviews and find stuff. But I like doing those kinds of things. So find some groups, and if you're just like, look, I can't find the kind of groups. If you need a little help, I'm good at sleuthing. Put a request in the chat for what you're looking for. And if it's within reason, I can do a little sleuthing for you. I'm very good at that stuff for some reason. But yeah. As always, as I say, make a plan. What was I going to talk about tonight? Making a plan for jobs. I'm still trying to pull it together where I can find the kind of job for me to be able to go overseas. And so this particular interview that I'm doing tomorrow, I really feel is going to be a big part of me being able to do this. So that's why I'm just like, I got to get this done. And I mean, part of me feels like they're gonna hire me anyway, because once they find out I have this particular AI certification that not many people have just yet, it's not thousands and thousands of people, it's more like probably hundreds of people have it, but it's gonna grow. But I've got it, and so I'm gonna build on that and get other certifications that are artificial intelligence certifications as well. That I think is going to put me in a position to be able to do more consultant work and to be able to keep that going. So if you are somebody that's like, well, I mean, I don't want to be in, I don't want to have an LLC. I don't want to be an independent contractor. If you're the person that wants to work, then you want to get that guaranteed check every 2 weeks, well, then here's what I'm going to say. Go find a job, if you don't have one already, working for a company where it's an international company, a global company. And then just say, hey, you know what? I'm looking to relocate. Oh, first see if there's any companies that are looking for any Americans that are willing to relocate. But even if they're not, do the research. If you find companies in your field that have international offices, you can always get on things like Glassdoor or just do Google searches and find out from other employees that have written up reviews, are they allowed to relocate overseas? And if they are, those are the jobs you want to go for. And once you do, take your resume, and I don't suggest you use using an AI like Chat GPT, except to do maybe a grammar check. a grammar check. But if you do, don't put your entire resume in and drop it in, because here's the thing, ChatGPT will keep all of your personal information. So if you put your full resume in and it's got your name, your address, city, state, zip code, your email, your LinkedIn, it's got all that, it consumes that. And it becomes part of this LLM, which is then open to anyone else in the world that uses it. So here's what I'm going to recommend that you do. If you're going to use that, delete all of you're going to take your resume, copy it, paste it into a new document, take off all of the personal information at the top. I would take off even where you went to school. Just put, like, if you went to school, high school, if you are that young, or if you did not go to college, then you're just going to put, I just put any high school, like literally the name of your school. Your high school would be any high school, comma, and then whatever city and state. And I would leave it at that. If you have went on to college, you do not need to put down that you went to high school. Put your college, but, like for me, I went to a college in Ohio. So I'm not going to put the name of my college in Ohio. I'm just going to put college, comma, Ohio, like Columbus, Ohio, something like that. And that will be, and then I'll put what my major was, and if I graduated, and you don't even need to put the years down. I wouldn't even put the years. Like, take out the years, and you don't need to put your years that you graduated on your resume unless it's pertinent to the job. When I apply for jobs, I just put the schools I went to, but I never say where or like what year I graduated, unless it was my community college where I graduated like a year ago, last summer. So I can put that on there. I graduated summa cum laude. That, in some minds, people look at my resumes and they're like, oh, first of all, they think I'm like pretty young. But then they're like, I don't know how, because it's like, how can I have a bachelor's, 2 master's degree, a master's certificate, and now I have this community college? They have to kind of put the dots together. But sometimes I feel like they're not. And then they see me and they're like, oh, you're not like this young Nubian whatever. And I'm like, no, I'm not. But anyways, I would make your college information as vague as possible, and then your jobs, take off the names of the places where you worked. Literally, if you worked at Morgan Stanley, you're going to take it off, and you're just going to put accounting firm from this month, this year, like from like 12/20 or 2020 till 12/20/24, and very general. And then just put in bullet point what you did, 3 or 4 things, no more. And then like underneath that, if you worked at like at IBM, you'll put IBM, and then just very general. Or sorry, not IBM. You'll put computer company. Sorry, you'll put computer company, and then put from what year, what month, year, what month and year to what month and year, and then just bullet point what you did. But you see what I'm saying? Take out all identifying information before you upload it. And then when you upload that information, and I know this takes extra time, but you upload that information to that LLM and ask it to do a spell check. That's it. Just a spell check and a grammar check. And it should be able to do a spell check and a grammar check, or if it's looking for awkward sentences, like you can ask it to look at your sentence structure, and just say, maybe you're going for like a lawyer job. So you may say, I'm going for a job at a law firm. I need it to make sure it has, legal, has a legal vibe to it, something. I'm not sure about legal stuff, but put that in there and say what you're looking for, and be very precise about what you want this LLM to do. When you do that, it's going to then spit back the resume to you, doing the spell check, and it's going to make some recommendations or whatever. You copy that, you paste it, you copy it, paste it into another blank Word document, and then look at what they're saying that they're recommending that you do for changes, And then you can take those changes and then you could just copy and paste it onto your resume, onto your original resume. And right, so it is a bit of work, but you don't want this LLM to get your personal information. Um, the If you do it that way, you will be able to not compromise yourself. You don't want to compromise yourself out there. Another thing that I like to do whenever I apply to jobs, I will save the job itself. Either you can copy the job, the particulars of the job, and paste it into a Word doc. Take the resume that you created, put that into a Word doc. Then you're going to create a file on your computer, or a folder on your computer rather. And that folder, like if I'm applying to AWS, I will take that job, I will create a folder that says AWS, and then when I open it up, I'll put, or I'll create, because I never know how many times I'm going to apply to AWS. Maybe I might apply multiple times. I'll create another folder inside of that AWS folder, and I'll put the name of the job and the date that I applied as the name of that folder. Then I'll take the resume that I created as well as the job description, those two files, and I upload it in there and save it. Because here's what if they don't call you for a month and a half? And then a month and a half later, they're like, hey, Koffee, the job that you applied for, and in the meantime, you applied for $300-400 jobs and you don't even remember that job. And how are you going to remember? Well, if you saved it at the time that you did it, then when you go back to that job, when they call you, you can go back to that job and you can recall everything about that job. And that puts you ahead of a lot of people who are going to be like, I don't remember that job. I'll just wing it. Because you go back to look for it, that job is gone. It's not there. It's gone. Because they're going to remove the job as soon as they have enough applicants. Then they're going to take the time to go through all the applicants and they're going to find somebody or people to interview. So put yourself at the front of the line by knowing what it is about that job. And then you can take that job description that you got and you can like do the research on those jobs and drop it into the LLM and ask like what are the expected questions that might arise from this type of job, and then have it feed you a bunch of questions and then you can practice. Okay, so this is the way for you to hopefully get your way to a job. So focus on trying to get a job, whether it be your own consulting like me. I'm just going to focus on consulting, being an independent contractor, or if you're saying, hey, I want a job and I want to work for a company and they're a global company. And just know, or there is that very, very, very low shot, it's very distant, may not happen, but it could happen that you could see a job. I could be here in the United States and I could see that there's a job opening for a job somewhere in like Sweden, and I want to move to Sweden, and I apply for that job in Sweden. I do a CV. They don't do resumes. They do a curriculum vitae, and it's much longer. It's different. You have to have your picture. Like they ask for a lot more information. They want a lot more from you. So you're gonna have to research what is the difference between a resume and a CV. And then you're going to have to do a CV. And then you can apply for the job. And if you get that job, you can go there and work there. And you'll end up working probably for less money. But the cost of living overseas in many countries outside the United States are lower than the cost of living in the United States. And I mean United States and probably Canada, because I think their cost of living is quite high and they have salaries that are almost on par with us. So not quite, but getting there. So be happy with less. I was watching a YouTube video of a woman who said she made 60% less doing at a job working in the Honduras, but at the same time she was like, I was living like a queen. Because, they know you're coming from the United States. They want you. They're willing to pay you more than like the average person. you may end up getting less, but you're making more than the average person. And guess what? Your money, you can save that money, and you'll end up having better savings than a lot of Americans. So, keep that in mind. That is another option. You could end up going to work for a company that's in that country already, and you end up just going through the process. Now, for those kinds of jobs, if you're going to go work there, you have to show that you have some type of talent that is so specialized that they cannot find, like if you're Sweden, for example, they can't find anyone in Sweden that can do the work that you're doing. So, they'll sponsor you for the visa so that you can go and work for them. Now you can also, if you are a student of some kind, you can get a student visa, and you can go to another country on a student visa. If you're a student, maybe you're working at, maybe you got, here's something. So maybe you are a student in a community college, like I was. And you're saying, hold on, I gotta answer this question. And you're saying that, oh, jeez, I'm trying to answer the question. Where's my little clicker? Give me 1 second. It's kind of funny. They were asking us a question for class, and I'm like, oh, I gotta answer that question real quick. And now I've lost my train of thought. So, it will come back to me. It will come back to me. Yeah, it's not coming to me. Oh yeah, student. So you're a student at a community college, and you're just like, you know what? I want to study in Sweden. So first find out if they have a study abroad. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. Maybe there's like some kind of reciprocal thing that you can set up through your school where you can go and take a class, or you can like here's what you can do. Find out from your school. A lot of schools have what's called independent study. You can say, hey, you know what? I want to do an independent study on life in Sweden. I'm going to be a social worker. They have a socialist system. Their social system is great. Like, nobody's homeless. Let's say Wannabe. Like you just literally have to want to be, because everyone has a home to go to. They've got great like parental leave. They have paternal leave and maternal leave, and it's just freaking like insanely good. So I would love to go to Sweden, be able to do a study there, and so you could get some kind of approval to do that. Okay, I have to do one last thing. I have to just give okay, it's over. And let me unmute the tab. There. Okay, now my class is over. I can focus on you. So you can go in there and you can see if there's a way that you can get that kind of study abroad thing going. Just do an independent study, see if they'll approve that, and then with that you can go to the embassy and say, hey, I'm a student. I want to study on like Swedish life in Sweden, and I need to do a study abroad over there, and da 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 da. See if you can set that up and get that into play. You can get a student visa. And from what I'm understanding, sometimes they let you stay a little bit longer, not forever, but say a few months after, you get to extend your visa. Like I went to Australia, it was 9 months visa, but they let us go for a year. They gave us an extension for a year. And so I stayed for a year, and then I left because I didn't want to stay in Australia any longer. But I have family members who are there still. But that could be a way for you to also get a visa to get there. And then once you get there, then you can apply for some kind of residency or something along those lines. All of those ways. So come up with something. Also, somebody was talking because they were like, oh, I want, people are wanting to have a little bit more privacy. I don't blame people these days. Because every time we go into Google or we go into Chrome or Firefox, whatever, there's a lot more AI being used. And so every time we're using it, we're also dropping in our personal information. And that could get people a little goo. So I was talking with one of my clients today, and I was telling him about this situation. And he said, you should go with what did he call it? Mullvad, Mull, M like Mary, ULLV like Valerie, AD .net. So this is, and the reason why Sweden's on my mind, besides the fact that I love them, and I've been there many times, but they have a browser as well as, and I'm looking at it right now, and they also have a VPN that you can get with this browser as well. And Swedes are serious about their privacy. I mean, Europeans are, but they are serious. It says, free the internet. A free and open society is a society where people have the right to privacy. That's why we fight for a free internet. Free from mass surveillance and censorship. Free from personal data collection and business models where your online behavior is treated as commodity. Free from authorities mass monitoring entire populations. Free from big tech and data brokers mapping your life. So you can browse the web with a Mullvad browser, and you can also get a Mullvad VPN, which is in US dollars, $5.25 a month, and you get up to 5 devices if you use their VPN. So I said to myself, well then, and I will get an account with them, because $5.25 so that I can have 5 devices is great. When you're traveling and you're living overseas, you may want to have a VPN you will want to have a VPN, because you may want to be able to get like news and be able to access like YouTube and whatever from the United States. But if you live overseas, how are you going to do it? You have to set up a VPN before you leave on your computer that says, hey VPN, I'm in the United States. You get an IP address in the United States, and it makes it look like your computer is in the United States. Then when you leave and you go to the other country, you will automatically, when you turn on your computer and it logs into the internet, it's then going to recognize that you are in the United States, that you seem to be in the United States, but you're not. So I have to see how this Mullvad VPN works, because I've just never heard of it before. But it does show, it does see where I am, because it says right now exactly what city I'm in. And so, and it recognizes the fact that I'm in, and I know it's pretty precise because I live across the street from another city. And sometimes when I'm like doing a Google search, it shows me in that other city, which is literally on the other side of the street. I can go outside and go walk to the street and put half my foot on half of the street and half my foot on the other side of the street and straddle both sides of the street, and I'll be in 2 cities at once. It's just, that's how it is. But this one is pretty precise. So I'm going to double check on that. But I suggest you get a VPN before you leave. And I will put the name of that browser in in my description as well, so that you can see that, you could try it out. I mean, I'm too small to have sponsors. I'm just trying to help people right now. And I like the fact that there's a possible browser out there that I can use that's not going to be collecting data on me, that's going to keep, I'm always going in and adjusting and saying, no, I don't want cookies. No, I don't want cookies. Some of them will let you reject all cookies, and some of them say that you can reject most of them, but there are ones that are necessary that you have to have. And I'm like, okay. So I do that. But double check on that and just see what you can do as far as a VPN. And having more privacy when you're browsing. Now, privacy is going to kind of get pierced if you're going in and you're still using LLMs. Do you still, if you get this browser and you even get the VPN, do you still need to keep your information private? If you're going into ChatGPT, can you just, no, you are not having any privacy. There's no expectation of privacy when you're using a large language model, an LLM. When you're using ChatGPT or anything like that, there's no expectation of privacy no matter what browser you're on. To always be very careful about giving away your data, giving away your information, which other people can then use, not even on purpose. Like they're doing a search on something that you put in, and they see your resume, that's maybe an example for someone else's resume. And that's why I'm like, keep your specifics on your resume very general, because all ChatGPT is doing is like they're just gathering up all the data, and as it's gathering up data, it's doing all of this algorithmic activity to kind of pull together whatever it is other people are trying to do searches for. And so your data can be caught up in with lots of other people's data. So just be careful. Yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about, I'm going to just kind of give a little bit of information about this, and I'm going to jump off because I got to get back in, and it's like 7:17, so I got to get back. But I found out some great news, because as I had said before, like in the very, very beginning, I wanted to move to Italy, and I was just like, oh, this is great. And I found out it takes 10 years before you can get citizenship. And I was like, huh, okay. So now I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'll end up going to Portugal, because Portugal bar is a little bit lower, the language requirements a little bit lower, and you can get citizenship in 5 years. So I can have permanent residency in Italy and get my European citizenship from being in Portugal, get a Portuguese citizenship, and then I become a member of the EU, and then I can travel freely. I can then focus on my next passport and get my Italian passport. Now, I have since found out the great news that Italy is going to have a referendum. Back in 2018, they started requiring that you had to like have a language, a certain like level of language, Italian competency, in order for you to get that citizenship. So you have to have that on top of the fact that it was 10 years. And I think at some point it just gets to be a bit much. So they're like, okay, they're going to now have a referendum where they're going to put it out there, and you can, as an Italian citizen, you can vote online or you can go in or whatever. But they need to get at least 50% agreement plus one, which is weird because I don't know how they're going to do that. But I guess they're going to count where they're going to say, hey, you don't need to get it for 10 years anymore. They're going to reduce it so that you don't have to take 10 years to get citizenship. You only have to take five. And so the level of language, and I got to double check on that, will need to be a little bit lower. or will be a little bit lower. Still higher, but a little bit lower. In order for you to be able to get dual citizenship, you're going to have to pass that Italian language exam. And so I'm like, okay, so for dual citizenship, I'm going to have to just go for it. But in 5 years, I'm sure I can get a level of competency of speaking Italian, being able to read it in order to take the, to take the citizenship test and pass it. So that is really good news. You still have to be in Italy for a consecutive number of days per year in order for it to then count for that year. And so I think it's something like a minimum of 182 and a half days, something along those lines, and not less than X amount of like days altogether in a 10-year period. It's something like where you really cannot be out of Italy more than like a couple months out of the year. So, and then you have to also, when you get to Italy, after you get your visa, you get to Italy, you have to go to the local authorities, and then you have to register with them so that you can get your permit from immigration so that you can stay in the country. And then that permit needs to be renewed annually. So there's a bit that you have to go through, and I'm still in those early stages. One thing I did find out that is also fun, and this is not going to be at all unique to Italy. I'm pretty sure lots of other countries will do this, but they're going to want a background check from your home country. So what does that mean? Is that you're going to have to go to the FBI. And since like we have a new administration, and that new administration is hell-bent on like really shaving stuff down, I think it'd be good if you are looking to go and live overseas is to start looking into it, time it out, find out the details. I don't know the details yet, but you have to do a background check, a criminal background check from the USA for every state that you lived in. I've lived in 3 states. Technically, I lived in 4, but it was so brief. It was like one summer. I don't even know if it counts. I'm not even sure if it shows up anyplace. So I'm not even gonna worry about it. It doesn't show up on my credit report. Nothing. So I'm gonna have to go and ask for the FBI to do a background check, at least for the other states, because it's not going to change. I'm never going to go back to any of those states. I'm going to be where I'm at until I leave. So I can go ahead and jump on that FBI report for at least for like the other states that I've lived in. So you may want to look into that as well. If you are moving with family members, or unfortunately if you are someone who has some kind of criminal background, you may want to hire an attorney and just look into having your record expunged. I know it can happen. I had a family member who now works in a federal agency who had a criminal background. Now, this family member was when this family member was young and stupid, but nonetheless, this family member had a criminal past. My parents saw the smart thing to do, and they were just like, okay. And they went and talked with other family members and all the family members got together and said, okay, for this relative, we're gonna see if we can't hire like someone in my immediate family, one of my siblings, to assist with another attorney to have this person's record expunged. And they just wipe it clean. And once they wipe it clean, that's it. Now, there could be states that have these attorneys that are pro bono, free. Okay? I don't know. I do believe that there could be a nonprofit organization. I would look it up. I remember very specifically in the state of Maryland that, and I think a certain county, but at least in the state of Maryland, that they did have this service that they offered to Maryland residents that was helping them to expunge their records so that they can then go and with free records be able to start their own businesses and be able to become productive members of society and build wealth. So you want to check into that. If that is your situation, and it's unfortunate, I would check into that. Okay, now I am going to finish for today. I hope that I've given people things to think about. If you are traveling, hopefully, or moving overseas, and that's your plan, then I've given you a little bit more information to think about. What is good for me? Like I'm just kind of really focusing on Italy and Portugal, but you may be focusing on Mexico or Panama or Thailand or Ghana or or I don't know, Poland or whatever, Algeria, whatever. Wherever you're looking to go, start doing the research and just really get fanatical about the place where you want to go and get all the information. And it is going to be like always a moving picture, just kind of like the Kanye, or not the Kanye, the Kendrick Lamar, like in the beginning of the of the Super Bowl, his Super Bowl performance. It was like a game, and like showed all the like the tic-tac-toe kind of game thing, and it was like the different like pieces on the game were like coming up, and so it's gonna feel kind of like that. So try to get yourself in the center square for the X, so that you're gonna be there for the win. And I promise you, if you're doing that research and you're keeping your eyes on the prize and putting together your plan, you're gonna get there. All right, so I'm gonna head out because I gotta get back and I have to start focusing on my interview for tomorrow. And then I have a restful weekend, and then I start studying some more for additional AI certifications coming up. So I hope all of you are having a great evening, or a great day, or a great morning, or a great afternoon, whatever time you're watching it. Again, this is Coffee Spills the Tea. My name is Coffee Brown. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, share this with friends, hit that notification bell so that you get the notification every time I upload. And I will see you then, I will say Monday of next week, when I upload my next video. Bye everybody.